Recently, I opened my press-on nail business, and now that it's open, after a long journey of preparing, there's a lot I've reflected on and would like to share. In 2021, I came up with the idea to start a press-on nail business. At the time, it was still peak Covina, and I was spending my sophomore year of college at home. I got into polygels and was making my own nails. They weren't very good, but nevertheless, I loved making them. Though with time I got tired of the whole application and takedown process, and not only that, but they weren't very good, so it kind of felt like, okay, I'm fighting just to make this shape, but I really enjoy making the design. So with inspo from a few of the girlies who were making nails during that time, I was inspired to give press-on nails a go. I made a bunch of sketches on my iPad and eventually made my first set. And I hated it. What I thought would look good didn't look good at all, and as a result, I stopped. I had bought some supplies from AliExpress by then, but because I didn't think I was good enough, I stopped trying. I gave up, and I regret that because the only way to get better is to keep practicing, and that was my first lesson. Lesson 1, keep trying. As of this recording, I've made it this far by trying. And honestly, I'm glad. I have gotten to learn so much, and I'm just excited to continue to learn more. I feel like the difference between now and when I was first starting out is that I don't expect results right away. Not everything happens the first time, and you're definitely never going to be great at doing something the first time. So remember that whenever you are trying something and are starting to get frustrated, give yourself a minute or many minutes, or maybe tomorrow, and just make sure you come back. Sometimes you really need to knock it twice or 3 times, and then that's when it'll all work out. Earlier this year in January, I decided this was the year I was gonna really give it my all. It helped that after I graduated college in May of last year, I got my first big girl job, and that gave me big girl money. I researched and planned and then planned some more, and all it ended up doing was stressing me out. And this leads me into my second lesson. Lesson 2, 1 hour of doing is more beneficial than 100 hours of planning. As good as it is to plan and prepare when you're a recovering overthinker, you tend to only plan and only prepare and never really get to doing the actual doing. I drew and scrolled on Pinterest, but took forever to actually make a set. I would plan content ideas but never film, and what I did film, I never edited. This, as you can guess, starts to get very repetitive and annoying because there's no progress. There's nothing to progress in because there's nothing being done. How I've gotten past this is not planning too far out. I plan for my day, for my week, but never 2 weeks in advance, really. Or maybe I may have an idea in advance, but I won't do too much if it's not required because 1, it creates an illusion of having more time than I do, and 2, it forces me to be present. This method has allowed me to be more creative in what I can do because how can I plan for something I'm not sure I can even do now, if you get what I mean. On March 5th, I posted my first YouTube video. It was nerve-wracking, yet I was excited at the same time. At this point, I had also began posting on my business account on Instagram, which I had made in 2022 but never posted anything on. This was very scary for me because I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere, even though I just started, so I don't know what I was expecting from myself. Every time I posted, I didn't get any views, let alone any likes, and would post, then scroll on my feed and see all the high quality content on other accounts, and it would kind of bring me down. If that wasn't enough, I was struggling to figure out my style. I like to scroll on Pinterest and Instagram for inspo, but wasn't too good at the inspo part. I felt like after searching for inspo, I would start sketching new ideas and would not feel very connected because most of what I was doing was essentially copying my feed instead of using my timeline to add to what I know I can do. And this leads me to my third lesson. Comparison is the thief of not only your joy, but also your creativity. Constantly looking at what others can do can be both a good and a bad thing. It can be a good way to learn new techniques and designs, but it could also lead to discontent with what you can already do. The best way to deal with this that I've learned is just to practice. And I don't mean just drawing. Whenever I make an idea is when I realize, okay, this looks ugly, or maybe it'd be better if I change this so it can be less ugly. But actually making what you have in your mind or pursuing what you want to do is the best way to see what you do and don't like. For me, I learned that I like to make sets that have some sort of symmetry instead of being completely different, because I like some sort of alignment in some way. I don't know, it doesn't make sense out loud, but it makes sense in my head. Currently it's May, and as of May 22nd, I would have been open for 1 month. Yay! It has been a challenging but rewarding journey so far, and I'm still learning and trying new things, while new things also come my way. To keep track and remember where I have come from, I have made a chart in my Notion to track all my accomplishments. And this is kind of corny, but anyway, this leads to my last and most important lesson, which is continue to show up for yourself. Show up for yourself in whatever way that looks like. In my case, it was working on a set for 30 minutes to an hour after working a 12-hour shift, posting even if I feel like no one is watching, praying to God for more faith, and to continue to trust Him in the process. Learning to dedicate some, if not all, of my days off just for some time, just to gain new skills. And also finishing a set even if I think it's ugly, because as Nelly Jelly on Instagram said, we're here for progress, not perfection. So it's important to show up for yourself because no one else will go as hard for you other than you. And this applies to everything, not just a business or your favorite hobby, but in life in general. So don't cut yourself out just yet. I know I haven't, and there's still 7 months left this year, and you still have so much time to start. So these are all the lessons that I've learned. They're not really specifically business related, but as I said, as a recovering overthinker, I feel like these are important things that I've learned and will continue to use during this time and hopefully forever. Hopefully you learned something too. I guess I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.